Imagine a country where the grass is greener than CGI, where the people are famous for being the friendliest on earth, and where the government is currently writing checks for $92,000 to anyone willing to move there. Yes, you heard that right. They will pay you nearly six figures to live on a private island in the Atlantic Ocean. It sounds like the ultimate lottery win, but before you pack your bags, you need to ask yourself, why? Why is a country with a housing crisis giving away houses? And why did only 20 people apply when the scheme first launched? Because behind this check for $92,000 is a reality that might break you. To understand why anyone would move here, you first have to see the land. Ireland is nicknamed the Emerald Isle for a reason. It is famous for its 40 shades of green, a landscape so lush it looks almost artificial. This is the home of the Wild Atlantic Way, one of the longest coastal driving routes on Earth. If you drive west, you will find the Cliffs of Moher. They rise over 700 feet straight out of the Atlantic Ocean. You might recognize them from the movie Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Standing on the edge here, with the wind hitting your face and the waves crashing miles below, is one of the few experiences on Earth that makes you feel truly small. But the beauty here isn't just in the cliffs. It is in the villages that look like they were ripped straight out of a Disney movie. If you want to see what perfect looks like, you have to visit Adair. It is often voted the prettiest village in Ireland. It isn't filled with modern condos. It is lined with 19th century thatched cottages that look exactly like they did 200 years ago. And if Adair is too quiet for you, just head south to Kinsale. They call this the Irish Riviera. It is a harbor town where almost every single building is painted a different vibrant color: bright pinks, electric blues, and sunny yellows. It is one of the most colorful places in Europe, and the seafood there is so fresh it was probably swimming an hour ago. But Ireland is also a place of deep, ancient mystery. Everyone knows the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, but did you know Ireland has a tomb that is older than the pyramids? This is Newgrange. It is a massive stone temple built over 5,000 years ago. But the craziest part isn't its age, it is its engineering. It was built with such perfect mathematical precision that for 360 days a year, the inner chamber is pitch black. But on one single morning, the winter solstice, a beam of sunlight shoots through a tiny roof box opening and illuminates the entire floor of the tomb for exactly 17 minutes. How Stone Age people calculated this with zero technology remains one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world. If you prefer history with a roof on it, you have to go to Dublin, specifically to Trinity College. Inside, you will find the Long Room. It is widely considered the most beautiful library on the planet. It is filled with 200,000 ancient books, marble busts, and a barrel-vaulted ceiling that looks endless. It looks so cinematic that George Lucas famously used it as the inspiration for the Jedi archives in Star Wars. It also houses the Book of Kells, a manuscript so intricate that monks in the 9th century believed it was written by angels, not humans. Speaking of movies, Ireland is basically one giant film set. If you head north, you will find a road that looks like a tunnel of wood. This is the Dark Hedges. It is an avenue of beech trees planted in the 18th century that have grown together to form a spooky, atmospheric tunnel. It became world famous as the King's Road in Game of Thrones. Millions of tourists flock here just to walk under the twisted branches. But be careful, legend says the road is haunted by the Grey Lady, a ghost who vanishes the moment you pass the last tree. But the culture here isn't just about looking at old trees, it's about speed. You might think soccer or rugby is the national obsession. You would be wrong. The real heart of Ireland is hurling. It is officially the fastest field sport on Earth. Imagine combining hockey, baseball, and lacrosse, but removing all the padding and playing at 100 miles per hour. The ball, called a slitter, travels faster than a hurricane. And the craziest part? These players aren't professionals, they are amateurs. The guy scoring the winning goal in front of 80,000 people at Croke Park Stadium probably has a regular job as a teacher or an accountant on Monday morning. They play for pride, not money. And before you move here, you need to know about the language. You assume everyone speaks English, and they do, but in the specific regions where the government is paying you to move, the Gaeltacht regions, English is actually the second language. The locals speak Irish Gaelic. It is one of the oldest written languages in history, and it sounds like nothing else in Europe. It is a language of poetry and secrets. If you take the $92,000 offer, you might find yourself in a local shop where you don't understand a single word being spoken around you. But not all history here is magical. Some of it is tragic. Head down to the town of Cove, pronounced Cove, and you're standing in the shadow of the most famous ship in history. This was the Titanic's last port of call. On April 11, 1912, the Titanic dropped anchor here to pick up its final 123 passengers before heading out into the Atlantic. When it sailed away from this harbor, it was the last time the world ever saw the ship afloat. And just down the coast, you'll find the Hook Lighthouse. It is the oldest operating lighthouse in the world, saving ships from the rocks for over 800 years. But let's be honest, you also come here for the fun. In a town called Athlone, you'll find Sean's Bar. It holds the Guinness World Record for the oldest bar in the world. It has been serving drinks since 900 AD. That means this pub was open before the Vikings were defeated, before the Crusades, and before America was even discovered. But if you order a drink here, be careful. In Ireland, drinking Guinness is a religion with strict rules. Rule number 1, do not touch the glass until it settles. A perfect pour takes exactly 119.5 seconds. Touching it early is considered a sin against the state. Living here also means accepting that some of the most famous stories are actually myths. Take the wildlife, for example. You've probably heard the legend that St. Patrick stood on a hill and banished all the snakes from Ireland into the sea. It's a great story, but the truth is scientific, not spiritual. Ireland never had snakes. During the last ice age, the land was too cold for reptiles to survive. But while they don't have snakes, they do have ghosts. Did you know that Halloween wasn't invented in America? It started here 2,000 years ago as the pagan festival of Samhain, a night when the Irish believed the veil between the living and the dead was thinnest. Which brings us to the money. The government knows that the remote parts of Ireland, specifically the islands, are dying, so they launched the Ours Living Islands scheme. Here's the deal in plain English. They will give you a grant of up to $92,000 to renovate a home, but this offer is only for 30 specific offshore islands. These aren't luxury resorts. These are rugged, wind-swept rocks in the middle of the Atlantic. And you don't get the money for buying a nice house. To get the full $92,000, you must buy a derelict property. That usually means a house with no roof, no windows, and sheep living in the living room. And this is where the trap snaps shut. First, the logistics. Try renovating a house where there is no hardware store. Every single brick, window, and plank of wood has to be brought in on a ferry. If the sea is rough, no delivery. Construction costs on an island are 40% higher than on the mainland. That $92,000 might vanish just paying for the transport. Second, the cash flow. The government does not give you the money up front. You have to buy the ruin and pay for the work with your own money first. Only after the work is done do they pay you back. If you don't have $100,000 in the bank right now, you can't even start. So is this a trap? If you're looking for an easy life, yes. But if you're a specific type of person, someone who craves silence, history, and a view that billionaires couldn't afford, then this might be the opportunity of a lifetime. You're not just buying a house, you're buying a challenge. The government is betting $92,000 that you're tough enough to survive on the edge of the world. The question is, are they right? Let me know in the comments. Would you take the money? Thanks for watching TourGraphy.